Hey guys, this is Eve with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to go ahead and start on our train today. We're going to start on the engine part of it, and then I will have another file up for tomorrow where we'll do the first car. Now, I know there were a lot of you who messaged me last night and said that you didn't have a Cricut, and was there any way that you could get a print off of this or some other type file where you could print this off and cut it out? So I'm going to have a PDF of this. I've got all the measurements written on there. I'll have a PDF of this linked in the description below this video. Just click that Show More button if you're on a computer. If you're not on a computer and you're on an iPad or an iPhone, you can click that little arrow up to at the top right, and it'll expand everything under the video, and it'll show you the links that I put there. So I will also have these photos for this and all the measurements over on my blog, just in case there's some that don't know how to work a PDF file. Then you can go over to the blog and print the picture off, and it's got all of your measurements. Then you can just cut you out a template out of something really flimsy like I did. Just some regular cardstock, thin cardstock, or paper, whatever, and then mark up your template so that you'll know what it is. Save that back and then use it to cut out with your chipboard. All right, let's get started. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I'm trying to get back to the questions just as quick as I can. Now what I did is I had my Cricut Maker cut out 2 of these thicknesses of this chipboard. The reason being is I want mine to be a little bit thick. Now I'm not going to make it a total 3D where we have to put, spaces in and all that. You can certainly do that if you want to. You can use one side of this for the front, another for the back like that, and then put your other pieces in here, cut you some more chipboard. I mean, it's just a lot more cutting, and I like the look of this anyway. And our first car is going to have room where it can hold different things, so this one is fine with me, but you can certainly adapt it any way that you want to. So we're going to go ahead and glue these together, and I just used some of my scrap chipboard. This is not, you don't have to use white. I just used some scrap that I had. You can use regular brown chipboard, black chipboard, whatever you want. Now I'm going to use score tape on a lot of this just because I know score tape grabs really quick and it holds everything together really, really well, and that's what I want. I want it to be held together well because I want this to hold up for years. I don't want it to be something that we use and then have to throw away because it's all torn up. So I'm just putting it around all of the edges, and then I'll go through with a piece right down the center, and then maybe a piece down through here. Okay, now let me find my pokey tool. It's buried over here under everything. So just pull the backing off of your score tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little bit of my art glitter glue on top of this, just so that I can put it together and have a little room to wiggle it around so that I know that I have it straight. That art glitter glue just gives you a little bit of extra time, or you can use a glue stick on top of your score tape. Just run a glue stick on top of it, and that gives you a little bit of wiggle room, because this score tape, this is the SWME score tape that we sell. This stuff is very, very sticky. So once you get it stuck down, it is over with. Now, I have a lot of people who ask me, what is this on the side of my bottle that holds my little pen? This is just one of our basic grade magnets. I'll have those linked below. And it holds my pen. Now, you have to have a stainless steel pen. I've also had lots of people who have questioned, why is my pen rusting in my glue? If you don't use a stainless steel pen, it will rust. So we only sell the stainless steel, if you go and get one from town or get one out of your sewing box or something and put in there and it's not stainless steel, it is going to rust. So this is our art glitter glue. Make sure you stock up on art glitter glue now if you want any, because very shortly we will have to stop shipping for the winter because it will be too cold. So make sure that you stock up. If you use the code REWARDS when you place your order, and I'll put that on the screen, then you can receive 15% off of your order for your art glitter glue. So that'll just help you a little bit stock up. We did just get a new supply in, and we'll probably have one more shipment maybe before everything really turns too cold where we can't. I'm not sure how long they ship. We'll be warm here in the south for a while, but you know, if it's not warm between us and them, then they'll stop shipping to us. Okay, we're just gonna lay that down. You see that art glitter glue gives us just a little bit of time to make sure that we've got everything in line. And we'll just press it down with our bone folder. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink all around this, because if I don't, then some of my chipboard is going to show and I don't want that. So I'm using the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo and a Tim Holtz little dauber here. And I'm just going to ink that up really, really well where that chipboard is there. We want that to be a brown and not a white showing there. And you could always go around it with a brown marker if you wanted to. Let's see. We have a dark brown marker. Yeah, here we go. You could go around it with a marker if you don't want to ink. Just take your marker and go around through there. That will be fine too. We're going to see how the ink holds. If it doesn't cover up well, then we may go over it with a marker too. And I'm bringing my paper right up to the edge, so I'm not going to worry about inking back in here any. Okay, I think I am going to go around it with my marker too. I'm going to use the blunt end of it just to go around it and make sure that all of that white is covered up. Okay, I think that's got it. So we will lay this aside. Then I am going to cover mine with this. This is just some paper that I've had from last year, and let's see if I can find the paper pad. This was a collection that we had in the shop last year, and it is just called Christmas Wishes. I had a couple of pieces in there that I really liked. I wanted something that had a little brown in it and not too bold, so I had 2 pieces of this, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to cover both sides. The reason I'm covering both sides is because one side, you know, you may want to set it up, but you want both of your sides to show just in case somebody wants to turn it around. So I'm covering both sides. I am going to go ahead and ink this up. It just helps when you put it together. It helps it look a little bit more vintage, plus in case that you didn't cut it exactly straight, it helps in that too. Helps cover that up. All right, there we go. We've got that, so we're ready to glue this on, and I'm going to use art glitter glue to glue this on because it will hold really, really well on this paper to the chipboard. Okay, so there's that side, and then we're just going to cover the other side, and then we'll be ready to go on. Okay, there is our 2 sides of our engine, and you can see the chipboard, it looks really dark around the edges, and that's what we wanted. Okay, now we're ready to put this top part on, and we will have the measurements for this will be on the blog as well as in a PDF. So we're going to put these on here, and I think I'm going to use, I cut extras of these, I'm going to put those 2 up there, and then I'm going to put one more. I'm going to stack 3 of these up because I want this to be a little bit thicker than this bottom part, because you know you have a little bit of overhang on your roof, and this is our roof. I may even put 4. I cut extras, so I may even put 4 on there. So I'm just going to glue these together. That's all I'm going to do, and then I'll stack them on there. Okay, those are glued together, so we're going to go around the edge with our marker. Now we're going to go ahead and cover this. I cut some red paper, and we're going to go ahead and cover this. And I'm trying to see, looks like I might have cut my red paper just a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to trim it off. It's just a sliver too big, so we'll just trim that off. Then we're going to put this down, but we are going to ink the edges on this. There we go, I think that's right. I'm going to get some of this ink up so I don't get it on my good paper. So we'll put those down right there, but let's ink those up first. We can go ahead and put the glue on the back of that and put these down. So there is our roof. And we want to center this on the top because we want to have a little overhang on this side and a little overhang on this side. So we want to center it right there, just like that. And I know that's hard for you to see, but I'm going to use some, I think I'm going to use some hot glue on this, because if I use anything else, I'm going to have to sit here and hold it for a long time, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use some hot glue on this. Hopefully my hot glue gun is ready. It may not be. So I've just run a bead right down the top, and then we're going to make sure that we get it as close to centered as possible. There we go, I think that works. Looks like it's pretty close to centered. Alright, so we've got that on. Leave the hot glue gun back over there before I stick my arm on it. Now this is going to be a little bit longer of a video. Hope that's okay with everybody, but this is not something that you can rush when you're doing a project like this. You can, but I can't, maybe. Maybe you can, but I cannot, because I have to think about every process that I start to do. Now we are going to go ahead, let's see, what do we want to do next? I think we'll go ahead and put our little cow catcher or whatever this thing is on. And I have cut, I think I've cut 2 of these, and that's going to be plenty thick enough because we don't want it to stick out any more than this does. So 2 thicknesses of that is going to be enough. So we'll go ahead and put our glue on. Glue those 2 together. And then we're going to go around the edges with our marker. Now that is going to sit right here on the front, and it's going to sit down just a little bit lower than the top of this. So it's going to come on down just a little bit. And before we put that on, we're going to go ahead and cover it with our paper. Now I'm going to use some of this brown cardstock. It almost looks like a brown paper bag. I'm going to use some of that on there. But you just want something that is kind of a brown color that you can go over with a marker or ink or something, because you want this front part to look really, really dingy, like it's been used and that kind of thing. Don't want it to look new. After all, there's no telling what all it's hit on the tracks, right? Now, I didn't ink that up before because I want to ink it up now, because I want to put some extra ink on there. And darker on the front, because that's where it's hit things, trees and who knows what all. So we'll do that way. Then we'll go ahead and put this other one on the other side. Okay, there we go. And yes, I do get really, really inky when I ink anything. That is just me. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to start right here. Just going to use my pencil, I think. Let's see what it looks like with pencil. Nope, we're going to use a brown marker. I'm going to use this brown Sharpie. We want this to look like that it has some little grates in it. Almost like it's made from wood. And you can measure all this if you want. I'm just kind of estimating, eyeballing the space between. There we go, like that. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so there is our little, I don't know, they used to call them cow catchers. What do they call them now? Or do they call them anything? Or do trains even have them on there anymore? I'm not sure. And we're going to put this on with some glue, hot glue too. You could have, and let me put this on and then I'll tell you, because if I try to talk right now, I'll end up burning myself. You could have put these on with construction strips, the ones that we have shown you so many other times before, if you had wanted to. If you had wanted to put them on with construction strips, you would have needed to have done that before you put your paper on. But I wanted to do this with hot glue because I have the Gorilla hot glue, and usually it holds really, really well. That's what I put lots of wood Christmas trees and things together with last year, and I had no trouble with them. So that's what we're putting it together with this year, or this time. Okay, now we need our little smokestack, and I also have the measurements on that one. See, it is a little bit of a process. It's nothing hard about it. It's a little bit of a process, but the end result is so pretty. And you could have had your Cricut to cut out everything, all your paper and everything, if you wanted to. I didn't. I just traced mine and cut it out that way, but you can have the Cricut cut out all the pieces if you want. That is up to you. Okay, now we're going to cover this piece with a little bit of paper, and I'm going to use that same paper that we used down there. I'm just going to lay this down on there and glue it down and then trim out around it. There we go. Go ahead and ink that up. Got that, and then we'll flip it over and we'll do this other side the same way. Now we want to make the top of this smokestack really, really dark because there has been a lot of smoke coming out of that thing. So what we're going to do for the top is I'm going to use a little bit of this black, and hopefully I'm not going to mess anything up. So we've got the top of that, And those are just Copic markers that I'm using. If you want me to, I'll link those below. A lot of people have Copic. You don't have to use that. You can use any kind of marker that you have. Those are just the ones that I reach for first usually. Alright, and then again we're going to use some hot glue. Now this piece, you just need to come back from the end about an inch and start the piece there. The narrow part is going to go at the bottom and the thicker part goes at the top. So put your little hot glue on there. And then I just lay it down on my mat so that I'm sure that I get it straight. And then I pull it up before it sticks, hopefully. And if you have any extra hot glue that comes out anywhere, that's the good part about your little tool. Take my little tool. There we go. So there is our top, our smokestack, our cow catcher, and now we're ready to start decorating everything together. But we're going to go ahead and put our wheels together first. Now for the wheels, I cut lots of this black cardstock. I'm going to put 4 on each side. 3, 4, I think. 4 on this side or on that side. See if I'm going to have 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I've got 2 wheels that are cut out of chipboard, and I'm going to put those in the center, and then I'm going to sandwich the other pieces in between, or on either side. So I'm just going to make a little sandwich out of that. The chipboard is in there, and then I'm just going to sandwich those around it. And this is going to call for gluing each layer, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start out and just start gluing each layer down. Now, you do not have to do this, but the thing of it is, the thicker your wheels are, the better this is going to stand up. So my wheels ended up being about 1/4 inch thick. If you've got some chipboard that you can cut it out of that is that thick, that's great. I didn't have. That's why I just cut some extra pieces and put them together. Now what we're going to do is go ahead, and I'm going to ink all of this just so it's all going to look the same, because as you know, all of your cardstock is not the same color. Even though it says black, it's not all the same black. So I'm just going to ink it all up to make sure that it all looks the same, like a big old tire. Now this tire, and I will put this on the website, I will put it on my blog. This tire is 2 inch in diameter, so it's a 2-inch circle for the big one. So I'm going to write that down before I lose my train of thought. 2-inch circle. And then the small one is 1 1/4. So I will put those on the website so that you will know exactly what size to cut your circles. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this one for the other side, and then we'll be back. Now we have our 2 large wheels put together, and then this is just a little scallop circle that I cut out with the Cricut, but all right, let me tell you, this one is 1 1/2 inch in diameter. There was some people that messaged me and said that the Cricut, the file was trying to charge them $1.98, and I think it's probably for this file and maybe the other little scallop file. You do not have to have these. This is just what I did. You can just cut another circle there, or you can punch out a circle. So just delete these 2 pieces, this one and this one. I'm not sure, if you don't have access, I'm not sure which one it's trying to charge you for, but if you can delete those 2 and just punch out something else or do something else with it. You do not have to do this. So we're going to put that right there, and I am going to put just a little bit of ink on the edges. I didn't even think when I made the file that some people don't have access, therefore some of these files might want to charge them. I didn't even think about that, but you can just delete those and then go ahead and cut it out, and then just do whatever else that you want to. You can cut out just a circle, or you know, you might have a scallop punch that you can use. That is strictly up to you. Okay, we're gonna put this right in the center. One of these days I'll get the hang of making all these files on Cricut and sharing them and figuring out what I can share, what I can't share. Seems like I'm just making mistakes on them right now. That there, and then we have a little red circle that's going to go in the center of that, and this circle is it's about 1 1/4, right, just shy of 1 1/4. So we're going to put that under there. That goes right there. And I just used the same red as I used on that up there, so that would match. So those are going to go back there. Okay, and then we have a little wooden button that we're going to put right in the center of these. And I have tied just a little tiny bow that is tied with some twine, and we're going to stick that right in the center, I hope. I just want to stick to my finger. I didn't want to run thread through the button, so I just did that. There we go. Oh, it's sticking to everything except what I want it to. So we're going to put a little dab of hot glue there, and I bet it'll stick to that. So there we go, we've got that one, and let me tie one more. There we go. Got both of our wheels ready. Now we're going to go ahead and put our little window on first before we do anything else. This is a file that I got off the Cricut and cut out. Like I said, this is the one that could be, if you don't have access, it could be trying to charge you for this one. I'm not sure. I didn't even pay attention to that. I know I should have, but I didn't. But you don't have to cut that out if you don't want to. Use something else. This is just something that I did on the last train that I put together, so I was just going to do it on this one. But I'm going to ink around it just a tiny bit. It just makes it pop up a little bit more. And then that's going to go right there. And I'm putting this flat down because I want it to look like a window. I don't want it to be popped up. Alright, so there's our little window on that side. And then we're going to go ahead and put the window on the other side. Okay, our little windows are on, and we need to put together our other wheels, our smaller wheels, the ones that go on the front. And I have just cut lots of little circles. So we're going to have 2 small wheels here and then that large one back here. So we need, so all I have done is cut about 5 pieces of cardstock out, and that's what I'm going to use for my wheels. I don't think on this front part I will have to have any chipboard, but if you want to cut it out of chipboard, that's more than fine. So I'm just going to glue these pieces together, and then we'll be ready to put our wheels on and do a little bit more decorating. Now for the little small wheels, we have cut a little 5/8" circle. Here again, you could punch it if you wanted to, and that's going to go right in the center of that. A lot of these things seem a little fiddly, but you'd be surprised how much better they make your train look and how much more decorative it is. And you could even do even more decorating than what I'm going to do. Okay, so there is our little wheels. Now what we're going to do is take our white Sharpie marker, shake it up really well, and I'm just going to go around these wheels, putting a dot here and there. I don't know what this does, but it does make it look a little bit better. And I don't measure mine, I just kind of guess at it. Just try to put them somewhere near the same all the way around, like that. See the difference? It just does something for the wheels. I don't know what. If you don't have a Sharpie marker, you could do this with ink or paint, whatever you have. Just put it on the end of a little pencil or something and just put a little dab down there. Just a little dot is all it takes. And we're going to go around these as well. There we go. So we've got those ready. Now we're going to let those dry just a few minutes. Doesn't take that long to dry, but I'm going to lay them over here so maybe I won't stick my finger in them. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and put our little decoration up here on the engine part. And these are just some little red strips that I have cut. And I'm going to cut them off just a little bit. I'll tell you the size of them in just a second. I'm going to trim them off a little bit. I don't think they need to be that long. Alright, these are 1/4 by 1 1/4. So they're 1/4 inch by 1 1/4. And it's just, I just used little scrap paper and cut these out. These are going to go right down through here. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue, put those down. I'm going to kind of turn it sideways so I can get to it and hopefully get them straight. They just need to go right from the top down just a little bit. Now I didn't ink these up because I don't think they need it, but you can ink these up if you wanted to. Okay, I'm going to put my other one back here, and then I will come back to the center one. Make sure I get that one on there. I don't exactly know what these is, what these are. I can't talk. I don't exactly know what these are, but there's something to do with the engine on trains, my husband said. Who knows? I just think it makes it look cute. Alright, there we go. We got those down. And then I just cut out some little swirls. These are little, I just went on Cricut and put in swirl, and then I just chopped off what I didn't need. And we're going to put those right down at the bottom of that. Okay, there we go. See, doesn't that just gives it some more decoration. I don't know why. Now, our icicles. Now, my icicles turned out really well. I hope you can see that, maybe. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see the glitter on there or not. There we go. You can see a little bit of it. So they turned out really well. So we're going to put those up there, but I'm going to trim this off a little bit more because I don't want that much hanging down there, covering up my window. So we're going to glue those right up there, just like that. And if you don't want your icicles that long, you can always trim them off. That's not a biggie. I trim some of mine off at a little bit of an angle. There we go. And then I want to put some on the smokestack. So we're going to, I think I'm going to use this, but I'm going to trim these off quite a bit. See how much we need. About right there. Well, we're going to hang these right up here. If you didn't want to do them with paper like this, you could have just put stickles on there or something else. Now, I just took my icicle stickles and I just ran it right at the edge of that and then ran it up here at the top just to make it look a little bit more like real icicles. Okay, now we're ready to put our wheels on. So we want to judge about where we're going to put them. Now you want them to be even, so the back one is going to go higher than these, so just keep that in mind. And you can use, I'm going to use my little mat here to see if I can get them straight. So I'm just going to glue the very top portion of this little wheel. I'm going to start it about right there. And then again, just the top portion. And they need to go pretty close together, not too close, but pretty close, just like that. And then let's make sure we got this straight, and then that one needs to sit right there, just like that. So put some adhesive just on the top part. And bring it in from the back just a little bit. There we go. So we have those on there. Now I'm going to flip it over. That will help those dry. And then between these wheels, I'm going to put some pop dots. I think one layer is going to be enough. Let's see. Nope, it's going to take 2 layers. 2 layers of pop dots. That will just keep your wheels from bending in when you set it up. So let's go ahead and put some glue up here at the top. And then the same thing on these, you're going to need to put a pop dot on the bottom of them. And then just match your wheels up. Whoops, I forgot to put glue on the top of that, didn't I? I want to make sure we do that. Match your wheels up and press them down. Right, there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put a piece of paper from this wheel to that wheel like it shows on real trains. And I just used a piece of that I put up here, and then I drew just some lines on it, just some black lines on there like that. So we'll do that to the other side, and then we also have to put our icicles on the other side. But that gives you the idea of what is going on, exactly how you need to put your train together, and that kind of thing. Now, it's not going to sit up right now, but when we get these other cars attached to it, it will sit up. I'll show you that when we get that done. Alright guys, that is it on the engine, other than me putting the other part here, and then I may put a little bit more snow around on here. Not sure, don't really want any snow on your engine because it usually melts off. It gets so hot, so we may just leave that part of the snow there. But that's it on this part of it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss the rest of the videos. We've got 3 more cars to do. Well, 2 cars and then the caboose to do. Oh, there is something that I forgot to do on this. On this part up here, I'm just going to take my white pen and I'm just going to draw some little scallops. On the roof. Okay, now there we go. That is it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and when that little bell pops up, click that bell so that you'll be notified when we put up new videos. And if you're already subscribed and you're not getting notifications, then you need to go check that bell, because sometimes those get unchecked by YouTube for whatever reason, we don't know. But if you will go back and check that little bell to make sure that it is clicked, has the little brackets around it, so that you'll get notified when we put up a new video. We will talk to you guys tomorrow with the next car that goes on this beautiful little train. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.